of your marketing plan. The next 2 sessions are going to cover kind of summary and presentation, but just a couple housekeeping rules. Again, if you guys have any makeup workup sheets, raise your hand if you have any makeup worksheets for me. Did you bring that? Will you bring them up really quick?
No, I already did.
Oh, you already gave them to me? Awesome. Does anybody else have makeup worksheets they want to turn in? Clay?
It's good.
Awesome, thank you. So keep doing those as you guys, if you can't make it to sessions. I know sports are over, right?
For the most part.
Some for the most part. Just try your best to keep coming. The second half of the makeup worksheets are going to be due at the end when your business plans are due. So I gave you guys those dates earlier. I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but know that as we finish the rest of the app, that's when those will be due. Do you guys have any questions about makeup sessions or worksheets? That brings me to my second topic. I'm going to call you guys up by team again, handing your management plan, but there were a couple questions and concerns over the worksheet that we gave out last time. Does anybody have it with them? The management plan worksheet that we gave out last time? Can I see it really quick? So we gave you guys a 2-sided sheet. On the first side was an outline. And a lot of you guys thought that the exercises on the back were your management plan. Now this was just kind of a brain teaser to get you guys started, but actually the management plan is intended to be in paragraph form, a Word document, if you will, answering all of these different questions on the outline. So if you were confused or didn't really know what it looked like, I hope that clarifies. But so your management plan, when you guys make it, should have 4 different sections as is outlined on this management plan. And for those of you who don't know what this looks like, it's on the resource page at grandcounty.com under the App page. So you can look there. And then again, this week for the marketing plan, we have a similar outline as you guys can see in your handouts. So when you get together with your team to put together a marketing plan, again, it's going to be in paragraph form, maybe a couple bullet points, maybe a couple pictures. But no matter how you decide to do it, be sure to answer all the different topics on the outline. That'll help guide your format, what it's supposed to look like, and keep checking the sample business plan online as well. So I hope that clarifies. Do you guys have any other questions about the management plan, the marketing plan, or any of the plans we've been doing so far? Awesome. I'm going to call up you guys by team. If you have any of these drafts, bring them on up and we can check you off the list. Team 1, do you guys have anything to turn in today, electronically or hard copy?
I don't think I got this.
Okay, what one are you going to email?
Is
Awesome.
this complete then?
Yeah.
The first financial.
Check it off. Team 2,
I thought we did that.
Kaylee,
So,
Travis,
besides the first
Mason, do you guys have anything to turn in today? All right. Team 3, Jessica, Devon, Jacob. Thank you. Check that off.
Now we have a lot more levy.
And right now we're passing around the attendance sheet, so be sure to check your name off on that list. Team 4, Clay. Does anybody on your team? Thank you. Team 5, Amari, Christy, Alyssa. Thank you. Thank you. Team 6. Team 6, that's Tanea, Elena, and Emily. All right. Team 7, Ashley, Mason, Ashley, Maddie, Lane. Do you guys have anything today? We do not. Okay. Team 8, Noah, Sarah. Do you guys have anything?
Yes, we have our financial plan.
Awesome. You can come check it off. Oh.
I thought you did the first draft of the financial plan.
The prices doesn't sound right.
My email, what email did you use? Yeah, I'll write it down for you and then email me stuff.
Do you have like our Gmail Dropbox that you can log into?
At the beginning, we gave you guys, like each of your teams, a Gmail account so that you can all access it. using that email address and password? Did you lose it?
I don't know, one of our teammates.
Do they all follow the same format?
Do what?
Do all the emails and passwords follow the same format?
I can't tell you that, because then all the passwords will be given away. I'll just need to tell us ours.
Yes.
But yes, if you guys forgot it, come up to me at the end of the session. I'll give you guys your Dropbox info. Finally, Team 9, do you guys have anything for us today?
No.
No, you guys are still working on it? Okay. Thank you guys. Keep up the good work.
All right, just one more thing before we get into our marketing section. Since we're at the end of, we're getting towards the end of YEP, what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks by the end of October is recording your business pitches. So what that means, and Riley has a handout for you, and I think it's sitting in front of you, is we're going to have each of your teams record a 1-minute video pitch of what your business is, what you provide, your product or service, how it fits into Grant County, and why it's awesome. So you have 1 minute to do that. And so we're going to be setting up times in each of your schools to come in and record those pitches. And on the same day, we're going to hand out YEP t-shirts. You're going to put those on, and we're going to take team photos. So we'll have team photos and video shoots happening in the same session that we come to see you. So for Marion, that's going to be October 22nd, next Tuesday at your success period. If you are Marion High School, we are coming to you. We're going to do the pitch recording, so make sure you prepare for that. And if you read over the little handout, it gives you more details on that. We're only going to run through the video once, so make sure you prepare something pretty good. And you can have note cards too, so it doesn't have to be horrifying having to remember everything. But basically, when we have our award ceremony, we're going to play all of your pitches before the Grant County community. So we get to show you off a little bit and display your creative ideas. And then obviously we'll have your pictures all over social media, so if you want some remembrance of your participation in YEP, all of that will be online. So if you are not able to come to the photo and video session, unfortunately, you won't be able to be in the photos or the video because we can't come back more than once, really. We need to have this done. So make sure you come out to that. If you're married, Mrs. Senowell, we're working on a date.
October 30th?
I'll have to check my, we'll be in touch. Ryan will tell you if you're from Mrs. Senowell what date that's going to be. So just be working on preparations for your video pitch in the next couple weeks. Okay, Riley, anything else? Okay, without further ado, this is Miss Jenn Kampmeier of Kampmeier Enterprises, and she's here to talk about marketing, and she's a rock star, so if you give her a round of applause.
Hi, good afternoon. Oh my goodness, it's been years since I've been in the high school. Walking through here, I was like, ooh, memories was great. So I'm Jenn Kampmeier. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur since the age of 7. Started my first company at the age of 7. A little bit about me. My parents are entrepreneurs. I have no idea what it is to have a parent to go to a job from 9 to 5. It just doesn't exist in my world. It's never existed in my world either. I came home at the age of 7 and told my dad I wanted to buy a company. Anybody take a guess what type of company I decided I wanted to buy? At the age of 7, back in 1980 something. I know, way back before you guys were even born. What do you guys think? Okay, that's close. It's in the food product line. A gumball route. I hear some nostalgic there. Yes, gumball. Remember, you actually put the quarter in and turn it, and a little trinket comes out. So I said to my dad, I said, I'm very serious about this. So we went and we sat down with the gentleman who was selling it, and we looked at the financials. And my dad, being the business person that he is, said, I don't like, let's work through this, work through the negotiations. Well, I have a sister who's 18 months younger, and she decided, I'm going to get in on this too. So she decides that we're going to become business partners. So I'm 7 and she's 5, and we're business partners. Got a couple logistical errors with this because I don't drive, but yeah, we have to go around to all the different gumballs and fill it up. So we had to bring my mom on as a partner. So at the age of 7, I already had 2 partners, an executive business person looking over, went to the bank. I'm from a small town, actually signed the loan myself. I was knee-high at the bank, desk managers, and got the money. We ran it for 2.5 years, and then we sold it, and we made 10 times what we purchased it for. So socked that away for college. My parents were truly happy about that, by the way, and it set me on my road to being an entrepreneur. Since that day and time, I created and sold 12 companies, and they are in the form of the fashion of where I am in my life. So So when I was single, I had a singles company. I created the largest maternity, baby, and toddler expo company in the United States. We were in 6 different cities and had 120,000 people go through them. Sell them, I take a little break. I'm OCD, I'm type A, I don't sleep, and I will only keep a company for 3 years. The moment that I create a company is the moment that I put the company for sale. I am not an entrepreneur, a business person who's going to work the rest of my life. I thrive and go and go and go. So there's many of you sitting here in the room right now that may fit in that mold, or you may fit in the mold of, hey, I actually want to start a company. I want to create it. I want a legacy for my children, maybe for my wife or husband if you get married and so forth. All of that is wonderful. You still fall under the branch of being an entrepreneur. Most importantly, when you are an entrepreneur, when you create something, whether it's a service or a product, you have to market it, right? The consumer, the end user, needs to understand what exactly he or she is buying or purchasing, or the type of service they're going to be using. So give me some ideas in the room right now, if you would please, from your teams. What type of products or services you're looking to build in your teams? Who wants to go first? Just 2 or 3. Please.
Athletic arenas.
Athletic arenas. A little bit more, please.
Indoor complex, like anything we have around here, to house indoor basketball, tennis, and soccer.
Okay, great. Starting in Indiana?
Okay, Marion.
Marion. And then you're going to franchise?
No.
Okay, just one.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Who else? Go right ahead.
My group is making a sports psychology center here in Marion by the where Tree of Life used to be next to Potter's house.
Okay. So you're going to be service-based. And who's your targeted audience that you're looking to come in to use your service?
Athletes around Grant County.
Okay. Ages?
Probably mostly high school students.
Okay, very good. You've already got your targeted demographics, you already have your location, and you've got your service you want to do. Good job. Who else? One more. Fabulous.
Like a teen club, teenagers club, do homework, hang out, have parties.
Juice bar,
Yeah. Spice
smoothies,
bar.
stuff like that. That's
Yeah.
cool. All
For a
right.
membership fee, I think.
Okay, so, all right, and so your targeted demographics is high school or that?
Yes.
Okay, all right, wonderful. This is great. Now let's see if I'm smart enough to run this thing. So we're going to talk about what is marketing. There's going to be a lot of words on here on the screen. I'm going to talk high level because what's worse than sitting through a PowerPoint where the person reads everything from it? I think you guys probably maybe get that enough through everyday world, so I'm going to skip through that, okay? So basically, I do remember, even though it was many years ago, how it was to be in high school. So the marketing, I want you to fully understand marketing and branding are 2 different things, totally 2 different things. Marketing is how you're actually going to get your product out there to your consumer, okay, your end user. Branding is the color, the logo, and all that fun stuff about it, so that when a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, which my son is the best person I run branding off of, he can give me ideas and go, oh, that's Pepsi, oh, that's Coke, oh, that's that, oh, that's Google, because that's the logo, that's the brand that they're recognizing of that. Target marketing. I talked and I asked the questions who your targeted marketing was, because if in your business plan, let me side note here, a business plan in my world can be at the back of a napkin, and it can be 20 pages depending on the type of business you're going to write. You need to identify who it is that you're selling your product or service to, okay? If you're just going to say it's the person in the box who's 18 to 54, that's one thing I love about the radio stations. If you ever do radio marketing, your captive audience is a woman, a female from 18 to 54. Well, that's great and all, but let's narrow that down a little bit, please, because I don't want 18 to 54. I need somebody who's like 23 to 44. That's it. So who is that person? Where do they work? What zip code do they live in? What do they drive? Where do they shop? What do they wear? How many kids do they have? Where do they hang out? What organizations do they belong to? These are all the type of person that you're looking for that you really need to understand and focus on and start to do some research about that. So to get started in your marketing plan, obviously you need to target your market. Hi guys. You need to target who you're going to be there. The best thing to do is checking out your competition. So for those of you in the room right now who currently have a business plan, do you have a competitor, somebody already out, whether it's in Marion or a different city, that is doing the same type of thing you want to do? Okay?
For my business, I don't really know that we do. Like in Marion, there's actually there's no psychologist that I know of. There's one psychiatrist, and then in like the surrounding cities, we haven't really looked that up very much. But I think it's mostly just like therapy and psychiatrists, but not really sports psychology specifically.
But you could put it in a box where you could look at different cities. Maybe even going to Indianapolis, maybe going to Fort Wayne. Within 150 miles of you to find out who your competition is. Okay? Anybody else have already known competition that you've identified in your business plan? Anything? Okay, all right. Check into that. That should be something where, so when I was creating the baby episode, there were already 4 companies out there. They were local, state-to-state companies, but no one was national. So I researched, I studied their website, I studied their marketing, I studied who they were marketing to, how they were doing it, how often they were doing it, whether it was a newsletter at 5 o'clock in the morning or a newsletter at 10 o'clock at night. That's all going to play into your audience and how they find you, follow you, and want to be essentially a part of your tribe that you're creating, okay? Analyzing your product and service, obviously that speaks for itself. We'll get into that in a little bit more. Demographics, and then you want to evaluate everything once you put that together. The 4 P's of marketing, so I'm going to break down each one of these. Product, price, are you taking my picture?
Oh,
Can I at least smile?
Smile.
Thank you. Place and promotion. Can you tell, I have fun with play. That's an entrepreneur, we have fun with play. There's never a bad day in my world. The 4 P's, there's a lot of stuff right there. So let's just break it down into dividing it down into product planning, and I'm sorry, I'm actually going to have to read from this one. Pricing, branding, distribution channels, personal selling, advertising, promotion, packaging, display, service, physical handling, and fact-finding analysis. Okay, who in the room is creating a product? Not a service, but a product where it's a physical thing that you're going to put on a store shelf or you're going to sell to end user consumer. Anybody? It's okay, go for it. My bubbly personality will warm the room, it's all good.
We're like selling like nuts and fruit.
Okay, talk a little bit more about that. Is it a storefront you're doing, or are you doing like online sales, like gift baskets, or? Okay, so I'm a consumer, and I'm going to walk in, and what am I going to do? What am I going to see? What am I going to feel?
Stuff products on the shelf.
Okay. What type of products? You're doing fine. You're doing good. So you're going to take the products, you have the fruit and the nuts, and you're going to sell them. You have different varieties of them, right? Okay, different packaging of them, because each one is different. Okay, all right, that's great. Thank you with that. So getting into here, so you've got a brand. Do you guys have a logo? A brand, a logo? Okay, so something to think about. Each one of your products, if you've got a line, let's say, of 3 different things, do you want them all look the same? Or do you want them each to have their own individual unique and feel? Whether it's a color, maybe they're all the same size, but they're all each a different color. Maybe they're all each a different variation of a really cool name. The other thing is packaging. You need to really consider, if I'm a consumer and I walk in and I've got a purse and a bag and a kid, and I want to grab that, I need it to be easily attainable to grab. You're going to have a basket for me to put it in. Is it going to be heavy? Is it going to be bulky? Then when I get it home, how am I going to get into it? Do I have to tear through Okay, sorry. I'm going to date myself back into the days of CDs. Those things were so hard to get into. You'd take it with your keys and you'd cut it and you cut the back of the case. Remember that? It's like, really, I have to scratch my case with my CD. But y'all don't have to worry about that now because you're in the technology age. So, but just thinking about things like that, and getting into, if you go to Best Buy, you've got that hard plastic you've got to cut through. So thinking about your actual product. Is there anybody else that's doing a product in here or just one team? Everybody else a service? Okay, all right. Branding examples, Coca-Cola. Who has not drank a Coca-Cola in their life? All right. Even though at the end result, Coca-Cola now looks like this today, you'll see that it was consistent all the way through with the color of the red. When you actually have your logo created? How many of you have your logo created for your brand? Okay, that's okay. When you get there, one of the things that it's called a, I'll just break it down. So it's called a different colors. So you're gonna have red, your hints of blues, your hints of greens, your hints of yellows. That's what every basic logo color is made of. And so you'll have those numbers that you can use then going forward. That's what Coke did. They consistently kept in those hues of those branding of colors. So a 3-year-old or a 102-year-old would know exactly what that product is and what to do with it. Price. Now this is fun. You can either oversell yourself or undersell yourself, and it's really hard to figure it out in the middle, especially when you're starting off as an entrepreneur. Prime example. So we'll go back to, we'll talk about the Family Fest. I have a Family Fest coming up on Saturday. It's the state of Indiana's largest Family Fest will be down at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. We have 150 exhibitors and we'll have 6,000 consumers go through. So when I created booth space, everybody been to an expo before, whether it's a home show or lawn and garden show or whatever, a vendor, a business, service people especially, as part of your marketing, will rent space inside of it's called a booth. So you have to figure out, what am I going to charge per vendor for that space? Because I have cost to the building, I have electricity, I have my own marketing costs, I have my own assistant, and so forth and so forth. So as you're putting your service together, so example, back to your, it's sports-oriented center, correct? Okay, you're going to have staff, you're going to have overhead, you're going to have marketing, you're going to have business, you're going to have insurance. So you've got to figure out, it's a membership based, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay, you're going to have to figure out that membership base. At the end of the day, you're still making a profit or you're surviving and not going under. And it's, do you $49.95 per month? And it's not a magical number. You do have to play around with it. And you may have to, do, for the first year, it's only $199 to get people signed up, whatever it is. And then you throw in something, and then you can, every month after that, it's $39.99, which automatically comes out of your credit card. And the only way you can stop it is if you actually email them with a 30-day notice. There's all those fun clauses you can put in there. So price is the main thing that you want to really consistent, because at the end of the day, if you're not making money, why be in business? I mean, seriously, your first year, more than likely, it'll be a wash, which that's okay. Your second and third year, if you're not making a profit by your second or third year, you really need to sit back and evaluate what's not working in my world, what can I change, who do I need to go out to seek help and assistance, or do I just say, hey, this isn't a good business fit for me, or I'm not a business person that should be doing this. Place. So this works both different ways with services. So let's talk about this team right here. So what's your product or service that you guys are doing?
A cycling spinning business
Yeah, fun.
that they use the energy from the bikes to power the
Oh, seriously? Okay, tell me a little bit about Venture. Keep going on that. So I'm pedaling away and I'm making my own bike go based off my energy. Okay. Kinetics. Am I getting? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay. All right, so where's your location going to be?
on the bypass, Main Street Fair.
On the bypass of Main Street America. And why did you choose that place?
It's everyone goes by it.
Okay. Who's your demographics?
The athlete, not really athletes, but the people who like to stay fit and marry.
Okay. All right. So yours isn't a product, it's a service, but your location is very important, because if you're not probably on a main road, no one's going to know where you're at. You're going to need signage. You're going to need, here we are, we're open for business, it's all good. In the back, what's your guys' service? I'm sorry, hi, mentors. You can tell me that one.
Sorry for you.
All right, up front here, what's your service?
We're a contracting company that specializes in remodeling homes for disabled people.
Ooh, baby boomers. Hot topic. Good job on that one. Now, you've got about 7 good years for that, and then guess what? It's going to start all over again. It's cyclical. It'll just keep going and going and going. And the baby boomers' kids have the money to take care of that for their parents. It's a good, sustainable business you've got there, definitely. So where's your location going to be?
How do I explain?
Where
we're gonna travel, and we're also gonna work with college students who need internships to keep the price of employees down. We're gonna work with architects and graphic designers, and just to make your house more comfortable. We realize that the alternative is a nursing home. It's cheaper, you just send them away, but this is more the family. You get to stay and you're comfortable, you're in your own house. All you do is come in, we'll make a few adjustments, bathtubs, your doors, lifts.
Sure.
So we're gonna try to keep costs down by using different resources like the Indiana Wesleyan or Taylor graduates that need hours of internships.
Home Safe Homes in Indianapolis. Great person. If you seriously think about doing this as a business, get in touch with him. He's doing exactly what you're doing. So Home Safe Homes. That's great. So your location really doesn't matter because you're not wanting them to come into a storefront. You're going to be going to them. So it's the opposite of what they're doing over here. It's the opposite of the sports center because you're going to be going to them. You're going to be doing trade shows. You're going to be doing marketing that's more face-to-face than anything. Yeah, you can have a showroom, but really is the overhead really worth it? Okay. For those of you, for your wholesale team back over here for the nuts and fruit, I know a couple of them had to leave, but if you ever do, think about this, if you ever do an actual product, a couple other things to consider is wholesale. That's also a wholesale part of it too, where I can see you guys actually starting to franchise, which is part of a wholesale. Keeping in mind with your cost, if you're selling for wholesale, you're selling for 50% of your usual retail. Think about that, ladies. Every time that we go in to shop at the mall, and that shirt's $49.99, it only costs them half that, so they're making a heck of a lot of profit. So, place location is extremely important there. Types of promotions, this is where I get really excited, as if I'm not already excited being an entrepreneur talking about life. Can you tell my 8-year-old was like, Mom, seriously? So, advertising, there's so many different ways to advertise. And as an average person, do you know how fast your brain is thinking per second? How many things it's checking in? About 230. It's amazing how much fast it's intake. You've got Facebook, you've got Twitter, you've got Pinterest, you've got Instagram, you've got your email, you've got this. At the end of the day, how do you focus? How do you separate? How do you get to that consumer and say, you need to read my email, you need to come to my store, you need my service? So there's a multitude of ways to do it. You've got the newspaper, which is pretty much, archaic these days, unless you're online. Billboards are great, but they're expensive. They're about $5,000 to $10,000 a month for a billboard. Social media by far is fantastic. Thank God for Mark Zuckerberg with Facebook because, where else seriously would we be? I'm connected with so many people, it's not even funny. But, and QR codes. Who knows what a QR code is? Please, sir.
It's like almost kind of like a barcode with almost random pixels that you scan. It generally goes to a link.
Now, I'm still in the archaic days, so I still have a BlackBerry. My son has an iPhone 5, so it doesn't really work too well with BlackBerries, but this gentleman is completely correct. Scan it, takes you right where you need to go. Example, everybody at the Family Fest, if they bring a can, they scan our sign, they get $1 off right there on their mission. So it's easy, it's simple. You take the person where you want them to go. The consumer goes, you're driving the consumer's not driving you. Personal selling, this is what you guys are going to be doing. You're going to be doing a lot of personal selling, a lot of talking. A lot of face-to-face, a lot of it's okay, we're going to help you out, the comforting type of thing there. Sales promotions, coupons, and so the other day, I walk outside, I don't know if y'all have these up here or not. This big honking thing was on my door. How cool is this? As if I'm going to stumble over. Remember the old days where they just hung the little ones? So I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 companies that have paid about $1,000 to be on this little thing. All of the neighborhoods around me have them. And I'm going to use 2 or 3 of these because it's awesome just to use it. So think about outside of the box with marketing. There's also those value coupons that you can send around, which is really good for services. A word of advice. When you move forward and in your business plan, I would specifically put this. When you're going to work with companies like that, the coupon hangers or the value packs, make sure that you are talking to the owner of the company, the salesperson, to say how many of my company, my service products that are similar to me are going to be in your pack. Because if there's going to be 10 of them in there, what's the sense of wasting your money on it? It's like no sense whatsoever. So just reference that in the future there. Publicity, if, when you get to the point of you're making some good dough coming in, grab a celebrity. Who doesn't want a celebrity endorsing their product? Special events such as trade shows and marketing. There are tons of free events from Louisville to Chicago that you guys can get in front of consumers. You want to bring it wide, bring it long, and just get in front of them. Product launches, these are fun. So for those that actually have a product, you can bring in different groups, different test groups, have a product party, have a launch party, give stuff out, partner up with different people, and just really rock it out there. You should always have a business website, whether or not you use it, you should always have one. I think everybody's pretty much going towards social media now for their way to get their weight out, and then of course trade shows. Just some examples there. Okay, I'm going to pause and go through each one of these with any questions that you have. Questions about the product, how to price, place location-wise, placement in a store, how to get into a store, a box store, and then how you actually would promote your product. The floor is open. Yes?
What would be a good profit margin for pricing?
Sure. 45 to 50% is typically where, for a service type of product, where you're going with that, yeah. Yours is repeatable, repeatable, repeatable. It's going to be like the same type of thing, so you guys can put packages together of what you need. You'll have a la carte stuff, absolutely, but yours is more like you're selling a consultation. You're selling the coming in and doing the design, so you're going to find an architect to redesign it if necessary, and you're already going to work with your third-party wholesale people to get the products they need. So you're saving that client so much time having all of that done. Present them the plans, here's your options, here's your bottom line cost, we need 50%, sign on the dotted line, you're ready to go. And then just put your project plan together with actually getting it done. Yes?
How would you assign a price for something that has more of an overall cost on a per service cost?
So give me an example.
Well, for like our business, it won't cost us money for each person that comes in. But it's kind of an overall cost for food, renting the building.
So 6 to 8 months, you're going to see what's coming in and what's going out, and that's going to be a good assessment of that. I really didn't have a good mark on my booth if I was doing the right thing or not until after my first trade show. So a year later, after I created the company, had the event, then I could sit down and look and go, I charge X amount of dollars, these were my bottom line costs, where do I sit? Okay, so sometimes with yours, it's going to be a little bit out. Yeah. All right. You guys are quiet over there. Questions back here? The back's really been quiet, so I know you guys are dying to ask something.
I'd like to ask you a question.
Sure.
I would like to know your greatest victory and your greatest failure in marketing.
Good one. That's my question too.
Oh, I can, yeah. Let's start with the opportunity I learned, okay? The opportunity I learned back in 2007 when I started my first baby expo. I had the grandiosest plan. I'm going to do online, I'm going to do TV, I'm going to do radio, I'm going to do all this fun stuff. Well, it all has a cost associated to it. And my sponsorships were between $25,000 to $75,000. That's what an average large box company was paying to come to my show. So I'm like, okay, I've got all this money, I've created my marketing budget, a little Excel sheet, whatever. So I go to a very well-known TV station, talk with the ad person, and they make it sound all wonderful and everything. Let me step back by saying this is September when I'm making this. My event was in October. And October is the preliminaries for the lovely new president coming in. So, my salesperson, lack of knowledge, didn't say, hey Jen, your ads might get bumped because we have to do advertorials for the campaign people. Okay, great. So $14,000 later, guess how many ads ran out of 200 that I purchased? Random guess.
40.
23. Now, I got that money back. However, it did me no good because my show was one time a year. So I learned a lot to ask about what's going on in the month, what am I going to get, how are you going to compensate if I can't have an ad ready, are we going to do it online, how are we going to do this? That was my best thing that I learned. The greatest thing that I found is grassroots. Partnering with different businesses who have the same ability to complement yours. For example, when I had Ladies Eat evening out. I would partner with a massage therapist. They would travel with me to all my different trade shows. I gave many massages there. I partnered with a day spa. She would come and she would do eyelash extensions or hair, whatever. Complementing it so that when I'm talking to the person, they're not sitting there going, okay, I'm so bored. They're wanting to go here and they're wanting to go here and they're going to stay in my booth longer and they're going to eventually sign up for something that I'm selling or doing that day. So grassroots approach, make friends, make partners, especially if you're going to have a box building. If you're actually going to go out there and rent space and have, a ceiling and walls and windows, find out who's on your strip of where you're going to be at. Find out how long they've been there, what the turnover is with that, how the marketing is, the billboards and so forth, and then start partnering with those people who've been there the longest because obviously they know what they're doing. They're working it. Did that answer your question?
That was a great answer.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Can you tell us some more about some of your businesses that you have created and sold?
Sure.
About?
Yep. So in college, I noticed that all my friends, I did gumball rounds, and then my parents had a stand building, so I did a VHS, and I know none of you probably have never watched a VHS. This is so cute. I'm reminiscing back to my good old days. And then so I had a VHS store, and then from there I went to college, and I noticed that all my friends were graduating from college, and didn't have resumes. So one of my master's degrees in HR and education, and so I started an HR company writing resumes. I created in my area where I lived I'm also a little IT as well, HTML code type of thing where I would put the resume out and I could spider out any jobs that they were looking for, and it automatically throw their resume out. And then I don't know if you guys have it here or not. It's called Manpower. It's a temporary agency. Yeah, they ended up they bought my company, and so then they ran with that concept. Then from there, I was single for a while, so I created a singles company. One better way to meet people. Not good. I sold that to Match.com. My portion I sold to Match.com. And then, let's see, what else have I done? Went into the Baby Expo when I had Zane to the Baby Expo. Then sold that, took a year off, relaxed for a while, and then I did Ladies Evening Out, which is all ladies events, pampering and shopping. Sold that. I got bored about 3 days later, so then I created Indie Family Fest, and so we're the largest family activity event in Indiana. So we were hosting our first event on Saturday. Yeah. So that in a nutshell. But my parents said you can do as much as you want as an entrepreneur, but you will get an education. So I have an undergrad, I have 2 masters, and I'm about ready to finish my PhD. So education is by far most truly important. It is. Not everybody will get all those degrees. Maybe a tech college is great for you, but at least get something just in case to fall back upon. Yes?
I have a question. When you're promoting your business, how do you decide what methods of promotion you'll use?
Yeah. Demographics. So I focus a lot on moms. And moms are online and moms are on their smartphone. So that's where I'm going to go.
How do you know that?
So, good question. Research. Definitely with the research. So, obviously with the Baby Expo or the Ladies Evening Out, it's the female. And so I'm studying of where she's shopping, where she's living, what her income level is, if she's a stay-at-home mom, if she actually works, if she's a single mom, and so forth. The other thing that I did talk about, which I'll mention now, is newsletters. Newsletters may sound archaic, but they really are truly huge. I have found with Indie Family Fest, that's the company I own now, our newsletters are opened on Tuesday mornings at 5:15, and I get 44% open rate. It's unheard of. The average open rate is 23%. Now, how did I get to that level? This will hopefully answer your question. 6 months of watching people open it and do the stats. I use Constant Contact, and thank goodness that they do that for me because it's really archaic, and back in the day you didn't have that. These are trends that you have to watch. The other time it's great is Friday night at 10 o'clock. Well, believe it or not, the moms got the kids to bed, they got their whatever they're drinking, and they're kicking back and relaxing, and they're checking their email. That's what they're doing. So, in your business, when you do a newsletter, as well as a blog, because a blog is also still important too, just start watching those cycles of when people are, get a pack play around. There's no magical science because each audience and demographic is different. I'm sure we've got some early risers here, and I'm sure we've got some people who like to stay up all night and try to sleep in during school and drag your butts here, but yeah. I was there once upon a time ago. Did that help?
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
What are the circumstances under which an ad that we may have purchased would get bumped out by another?
I think as long as are you talking print, you talking radio, you talking television? There's different means there.
Let's just say print and radio.
Print is going to be different because they're going to contractually tell you what page, how big the ad size, and when they're going to run it, and it's typically monthly. And you will sign, if you're going to say you're going to run an ad in April, you're going to take care of that in February. They're always 2 months ahead. So you'll know ahead of time if yours is going to get bumped or not. Radio is a little different. I just went through this. So with radio, I just purchased 100 and some of them. They give you the 6 a.m. to 12, they give you the 12 to 4, whatever, and they give you like 5 or 6 in there. But I'm like, no, that's not going to work for me because I don't want it back to back to back. I actually want it timed. Radio stations have everything timed down to the nanosecond of when they're going to run stuff. So you ask for a schedule. Then once the radio is done, then you ask for another schedule to actually check the accuracy, and then you go back to your salesperson and say, hey, you didn't run it here, here, and here, so that's credit towards me. You have to, as a business owner, you have to stay on top of that. With that, I will mention it is totally okay to outsource. I am only one person. I do like to sleep at least 5 hours a night. And with that being said, I'm turning 40 this year, and I still got a spunk, but I'm slowing down on my age just a little bit. I have an 8-year-old child on top of that. Outsource. I outsource my graphic. I outsource my accounting. I outsource some of my marketing. I have 2 assistants, and I have 3 interns. Interns are the best thing you can possibly find in your life. They're eager, they want to learn, and you can help them. Yeah. I'm telling you what, it's fun. It's like, you guys are building a resume, and you're getting this wonderful opportunity to work with all these wonderful students, and it's fabulous, it is. But we pay our interns. We don't disrespect them. We go out to lunch at least once or twice a week, so yeah, it's how you treat them, they're going to give back to the company. There's a lot of information I just threw at you all. I was really excited to throw it out really fast. Any other questions? Well, you guys have 2 weeks left after this, is that right?
2 more sessions.
2 more sessions, and then we're going to pitch, okay? Word of advice, I flopped on my first pitching. Seriously, practice. Seriously, put on the outfit, stand in front of it. I know it sounds good, I know it does. Stand there. Y'all have smartphones. I know every single one of you do in this room. Set your smartphone on your bed at least so you can, not even if you're videotaping yourself, at least you can hear yourself, okay? You need to practice because you're going to get up there and go, okay. This morning I was on Fox 59. I went over and over and over and over and over, and I knew what I was going to say, and I still got up there and I was like, okay, I had 5 things I wanted to say. I mentioned 3 of them, which is okay. But you get done and you're like, oh, shit, I should have said this, I should have said that. Don't do that. Just practice. Just practice. Put on your outfit like I said, and think of 2, what do they have, a minute? They have a minute. Think of 2 minutes of stuff because you're going to talk really fast. You are.
That's good advice.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you, ladies, for doing this.
Thank you.
You are quite welcome.
Thank you.
Marketing, absolutely.
So, be sure for Jen to fill out her speaker evaluation. We really appreciate your guys' feedback. I know Jen does too. Reminder, you guys have fall break, so we're not meeting next week, right? You get a break. So, cheers to that. You can work on your business plan over fall break if you want. You what? Yeah. You don't have fall break? Who has fall break?
Next week.
They do. We're still not meeting next week, right? Right.
Well, we only have fall break Thursday and Friday. That's Thursday.
We're not meeting next week, so you guys will get to hopefully relax, work on your business plans.
Yeah, we do.
And in any case, you guys have your marketing plan. So when you're working with your mentors and your teammates, be sure that in paragraph form you guys address all 4 of these topics: the price, place, and promotion, and product. Okay? 4 P's. The 4 P's. There's also an exercise on the back that we'd like you and your team to go through with your mentors now if you can. Otherwise, you guys are free to go. And let's give Jen one more round of applause. That's great.
Guys,
Thank you. Oh, I'm so late.
before we meet, and I really think you should finish
Because now you know where you're going, right? I'm like,
the CFO. Yes. So we're gonna start splitting them up into. Yeah. You know the numbers, right? Like you have written down. Like basically what we need is we need what the 4 products are gonna cost us, how much we're gonna sell them for, and then you'll get the profit. And then we'll look at with all our costs, we'll look at how much money we need to make.
My brother's texting me, but we should probably go. Monroe Central is pretty far away, so.
The 30th doesn't work for either one.
Oh, it's second. It's only second quarter.
Can you do me a favor real quick?
Yeah.
I need to text my dad.
I will send you what
No, I don't.